Welcome to Made for Mondays, the source for digging a little deeper into the Believers Church Sunday messages and finding ways to apply them to our daily lives. Together, let's take a deeper look and find a way to bring Mondays back to life.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this week's Made for Mondays podcast. I am Joe. I am filling in for host this week. And who do I have with me?
I hope you're watching, not just
listening. Today is a good day to watch.
Yeah, well, I'm trying something new.
Maybe we could do a special thumbnail on
that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm. It's just an extreme close-up of Joe's beautiful hair.
I'd like to see some comments. Like, what do you think?
I got to say, it makes me think of my favorite genre of music.
Okay.
80s rock.
Yeah, 80s rock. All right.
Yeah.
I feel like to me, it's more like a 80s wrestling superstar is what I feel like right now.
Is it warm in there?
It's warm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Jamie.
And Adrian.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Yeah. It also feels very tall.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
That completes this portion of teasers.
Yeah.
This is a teaser, by the way,
Okay, you
for
have
our
to take it
listeners
off
and
now.
audience. Do I have to?
Well,
Okay. That makes sense. All right. It'll be back, though.
okay.
It'll be back.
Well, yeah. We spend a lot of time preparing each Sunday experience.
Yes.
So that you will get the most out of it. And in a couple of weeks, we're planning something special.
Yeah.
And Joe is involved, in case you can't tell.
Yep.
Baby steps. We don't want him to choke like he did with that limerick last week.
Yeah, that was tough.
That was tough.
I'm in a little bit more of a teaser, though. So Tyler is teaching that Sunday, and Tyler has told some really funny stories through the years, but this one is the dooziest story of Tyler that I have ever heard.
Yeah.
It's
We were
unbelievable.
crying.
It is so good.
Can't wait for you to hear it.
There's no way they're going to tie that together, that teaser with what you just, like,
No.
the story. It's going to be so good.
We'll see.
It's going to be so good. All right, guys. Well, what did we do this weekend?
My weekend primarily was LDP Leadership Development Program. Our social event was on Saturday.
Oh, yeah. How did that go?
Yeah, it was really good. So we went to downtown Suffolk, and we did the Riddick House tour, and we did a historic bus tour.
That's cool.
So we figured we're a Suffolk
Middle-aged
church.
people.
We're a Suffolk
doing
church.
fun
We're going to
another
learn
day.
about our city.
Good.
Yeah. So well, I'm by far the oldest one in the group, so everyone else is much younger than me. It was super fun. And then we went out to eat at the Mod Olive afterwards, and it was really fun. So it's a short bus, so we had to divide into two groups.
Okay.
So one group did the house tour, one group did the bus tour. Then we swapped, and the timing of it was not super great. The house tour was a little longer than the bus tour. Yeah, because they went into just slightly too much detail. It was fun and very informative, but yeah, you almost got like a historic rundown of every piece of furniture in the room, like every artifact. It was just like
So enriched. Yes,
I
got
get
it.
Yeah.
But learned a handful of things. I did not know that Suffolk was an occupied city by the Union Army. I did not know that. And they actually occupied the courthouse, and lots of public buildings were confiscated and used for housing Union soldiers and such. And a lot of the artifacts from this house ended up in upstate New York with my people.
Wow.
So I didn't tell anyone there that.
You didn't?
No, I didn't tell the guy because he spent 35 years collecting all the stuff from this house. I didn't want him to know.
Your people been stealing some
That was
stuff.
probably my uncle. Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, it was very interesting, and it was a large party for Mod Olive, and I talked to everyone. There was one guy in particular, Jim, who I'm not sure that he enjoyed his meal, but I think everyone else did. He had a lot of food left on his plate when we were done.
Telltale sign.
That's what I'm thinking. I don't know.
Well, sometimes you just can't tell with Jim. I love him.
It's true.
You can't tell.
And my wife got a sandwich, and the amount of waffle fries that came on that plate
Never a problem.
was like enough for our entire table.
Did she leave with handfuls
She
of
left
waffle
with
fries?
yeah, she left with the box. There was another incident where she grabbed fistfuls of food.
We had only a moment. So she filled
was
her
not
pockets.
leaving that behind.
So good. So good.
That was funny. She
love
did
and
take
respect
a box of fries home, and I was really looking forward to having them last night. And then Derek came by, and she gave all of them away.
Oh, that's tough.
That's what she does. I said, "Are there any fries left?" She says, "Oh, yeah."
What happened to those?
I should have saved some for you. It's all right. I'm used to it.
So, review time. How was the Mont Olive? So,
Yeah, no,
good
it was
review.
really good. Yeah. I had the meatloaf sandwich. So good.
Was that like remind you of the McRib or something? when
I
we're not
love
in season?
meatloaf. Bonnie doesn't ever really make it. And so if I ever see it on a restaurant menu, I almost always get it.
Yeah, I like meatloaf too.
Yeah, it's really good.
Tasty. LDP. So is this like a kind of a B group? Yeah.
Yeah, sort of. So it's our effort to be intentional on developing a leadership culture here at Believers. And so we invite people who are serving at various levels and invite them into this thing. It's once a month for 6 months. And I take them through a bunch of different books and podcasts and such things that have had a big influence on me and the culture of Believers Church, so that they can I'm trying to infuse what's shaped us into others, so that we can have at our leadership level, we have consistency and shared thoughts and ideas. That's kind of the hope behind it. So this was actually only our second go. The first go was 10 months long. Joe went through that.
Oh my goodness.
Jeremy went through that.
Yep.
Oh, he's not in here.
Nashana went through that.
Some high quality folks.
Very high quality. Yeah. It turned out to be like a job interview for several of them. None of them were on staff before LDP.
Okay.
That's right.
So yeah, and a few of our elders currently came out of that first LDP, but it was rather intensive from my perspective, because I'm doing elder training and LDP and my own B group. It's just a lot. And so we scaled it back to be a 6-month thing, which truthfully it lost a little bit, but it's more sustainable. So my plan is to run it every 6 months. So every January to June, we'll run another class, where when it's an all year thing, I just couldn't muster the energy to start it again.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm hoping to crash.
Yeah,
next
that would be great.
season. I have not been through myself. Don't tell anybody. My weekend was the tail end of a week-long adventure at Lake Gaston. I am officially a lake person.
Oh, nice. Lake life.
Yes, lake life. I got a shirt that says lake on it. I'm ready.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
What a fantastic time. Just
Nice.
tootling around on the boat.
Yep.
Jumping out when you're too hot. Jumping back in when you're ready for a beverage and a snack.
Yeah. Awesome.
I took my watch off and did not know what time it was
That's
the
so great.
entire time.
Well, that's so great.
Highly recommend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
That's good. That's good.
But you, Joe?
Yeah, this weekend,
How'd the team do?
I knew you were going to bring that up. The team did great for 6-year-olds. They did great.
A qualifier. That's not
keep
good.
a little perspective on the situation. Yeah, we did not go as far as we would have liked. This past weekend, we had our host tournament. So we were at Western Branch or at Chittum rather, for that age group. But yeah, they played their little hearts out. It's tough. That's more baseball than they are used to in one day. It's like a season's worth in a couple days. I mean, we played 3 games on Saturday.
Yeah,
it was
that's
so
ridiculous.
hot. And I mean, we were there from 8 a.m. to 4.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It was wild. But I mean, they won.
But good for you. I would never do that.
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah.
It was good. It was fun to see them develop, everything like that. But that was most of my weekend. We did squeeze in a little date night. Shout out, like my family is so supportive of us, of our kids, all that. So they were out there in the heat with us the whole weekend.
Nice.
My dad was helping coach, and then Grandma watched the kids. We got to go to Fish and Slips.
Nice. I love that place.
Yeah, it is very good. That was a last minute decision. My wife, I love her to death, but she's rather picky on the food side.
You should never say love her to death, but
maybe not love her to death either. What's with all the death in that?
We were on the way to her favorite pizza spot in Portsmouth, and I talked her into
really
taking a pivot over there to a seafood spot, but she enjoyed it. She had a salad.
Oh, I mean, salad's
grilled
good.
chicken
Was there
salad.
anything? Grilled chicken?
Yeah,
okay.
grilled chicken
There's
salad.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I had a plate full of fried flounder.
Oh yeah. I
So-
love their fried fish plate over there. Also, they have a what is it called? The Tyrannosaurus crab cake or something like that. It's crab cake with lump crab on top of it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
I'm glad I
Where
didn't
is
read that
this place?
description.
It is in downtown Portsmouth, right on the water.
I can't
You
walk
can
to there from
see-
my house.
No, you can't walk there. You can take
You
the
can
ferry
see
over
Waterside
almost.
right on the other side.
Yeah.
So it's like almost right
Fish
across.
and Slips. I'm writing this down.
It's really good.
Yeah, I love that place.
Yep. All right. So this week we're continuing our Bible reading challenge. I think same as last week, still in Hebrews,
We are.
finishing up Hebrews, and a little Psalms mixed in there. So anything stand out to you guys this week?
Today's reading, I was just thinking about like when was the last time I ever taught a message on this part of Hebrews chapter 12, and the answer is I don't think ever.
Really?
It talks about the discipline of God.
Yes.
Because he loves his children. And the author says, what loving father doesn't discipline their child? And I thought, they did not predict 2025. Because there's lots of loving parents who do not discipline their children
good.
these days, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, the discipline of God and taking it in stride because it's a demonstration of God's love for you, even though it can produce suffering and hardship. That's what the chapter talks about. And so like even trying to discern, sometimes I'm writing a message about suffering at the moment. And it got me to thinking like, how do you even discern suffering that's caused by the discipline of our Heavenly Father versus, you know, a test or trial of some kind by the enemy? Like I mean, I guess you discern it because you're out of line with the Father's heart and will. Maybe that's the thing. I don't know, but it just got me thinking about that's not a very popular topic, probably.
Yeah.
To talk to people about some of what you're going through. Maybe, and like, I don't know. I think maybe some of this discipline stuff isn't so much because like you're directly sinning, but like maybe there's refining that has to happen in you, and there's some character qualities that need to get further developed in you. So like, I don't think it's always just a result of your blatantly sinning. I think it can be, there's like James 1 talks about that testing, you know, proves us, it refines us, it develops us. Like there's benefits from it. So yeah, anyway, not a super popular topic, but
No,
I thought it was interesting.
I thought the same thing. I could not believe we dove into that this morning, because yesterday just had like a little debrief, like an hour-long chat back and forth, texting my assistant coach, Chris, because I wasn't at the game yesterday. We lost early, so didn't need to go out there yesterday. But just like what went wrong, what the kids need to work on, stuff like that. But we talked about, he's like, yeah, it's so different than how I grew up, that like anytime I get on these kids, they just hang their head so low.
Right.
And like even the parents like just need to, you know, maybe take a step back, let us handle it when they're with us and sort of thing. And I'm like, yeah, it really is so much different than how we grew up. I wasn't overly disciplined, but like to see that part out there. And like you said, it's not anything to do with the sin thing. It's just like throughout this whole all-star situation. So like the last month, I've just noticed that the need for me, we have like 4 other assistant coaches, and anytime one of them was with Easton, whether bad or good, like I just did my best to turn away and go help another kid and not even look, because I'm like, he needs other men in his life.
Yeah, that's good.
That are disciplining him, along the same way.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. I was also hanging out in Hebrews a little bit and did my bonus assignment of James 1.
I did also. Yes, I did that this morning.
I am kind of thinking, though, of doing a super challenge and reading all of James every day.
Oh, yeah.
The next 5 days. That thing about just reading little pieces of it, like I want to get as much as I can out of it. So anyway, dare on the table, everybody.
There you go.
So Hebrews 10, I think this was yesterday. And for those of you who are new to the podcast, if you download our fun Believers Church app, you can hit a button down at the bottom that tells you the reading plan and how to jump on board with us.
Yep.
And you don't have to catch up. You can start right where we are.
Yep.
It'll be good times. All right, so Hebrews 10, and I just wanted to read a little teeny bit if I can. 23 through 25. Let us hold tightly without wavering to the hope we affirm, for God can be trusted to keep his promise. Let us think of ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. And let us not neglect our meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now that the day of his return is drawing near. And I also highlighted the footnote for 25 here. To neglect Christian meetings is to give up the encouragement and help of other Christians. We gather to share our faith and to strengthen one another in the Lord. As we get closer to the day when Christ will return, we will face many spiritual struggles and even times of persecution. And that really stood out to me because as we're kind of rolling into summer months and people are, everything is you don't see people you've grown accustomed to seeing every week. The seats, Jamie and I were talking yesterday between services about how kind of empty it felt in the auditorium yesterday. And
for service.
Yeah. And just kind of the shift we see with seasons here at Believers and anywhere really as school seasons come and go. But just really making a priority to stay connected to the people who are in the area and to stay connected to Believers either by watching online or tuning into the podcast. You can still engage with us even when you're away by leaving comments here. Or responding to our social media posts. There's lots of ways to stay engaged with your people.
Love that.
Yeah, for sure. And that's exactly why we started one of what we do quite often during the summertime is a series that has standalone weeks like that. So we try to meet you in that moment and times of vacation and stuff like that. So we started a new series yesterday called Summer Playlist, where we're looking at different books of the Psalm. We're not going to do all 150.
We are not.
But you started with one.
I did start with one. It's up to whoever's teaching next. They can pick up two.
It did kind of feel like we might be doing all 150 something. But yeah, we were in Psalm 1 yesterday. Jamie, you walked us through. Towards the beginning of the message there, you walked us through the idea of drifting. Yeah. And not just based on like decisions that we have made, but sometimes just life in general, kind of like what you're talking about with this week's reading, like sometimes not even tied to sins of decisions we've made, but just life in general causes us to drift. Yeah. Do y'all have a time where you can share your own experience and where you've realized that you were drifting? And how have you, helped to replant yourself when you feel adrift?
I can think of plenty of examples. But when I was putting the message together, one of the thoughts I had was like talking about, reflecting on your life and where you're at, the status of your life. My thought was, students in the room are going to tune out because, I'm not old enough to have that evaluation moment. However, it was probably my high school years that I was the most adrift in my entire life, where I was not very intentional about where I was planting myself, and I was allowing myself to get pushed and pulled by social pressures and friend group pressures and all of those things. And that is by definition adrift. Yeah. So that's just, I tried to bring that out of the message to try to bring them in, but that was my thought. And for me, definitely, I got I got married young and was full of purpose from 19 years of age forward. And, but prior to, just lots of drifting.
Well, there's something to be said for this natural ability to drift away when we experience like levels of freedom for the first time. So high school age when you start to drive. And like, so for me, it was the college years, same thing, like this natural drifting away.
Yeah. So for me, my high school years were like most people's college years. I didn't have any adult supervision.
Rolling in
I had a car, I had a motorcycle.
Watch out, leather jacket.
Had an apartment that my dad rented and was very rarely there. So
Had hair like this?
no, well, up until I went through boot camp, yes.
Okay.
And after boot camp, I had a shaved head.
Yeah.
But that was my senior year. But yeah, so I did college and high school, and then was married in college. So
Yeah, mine was in college. That natural drift away because my parents both did a great job of like just making church a part of our life growing up, and so it was just this. I knew it all at that age. I knew the answer to everything. I don't need anybody else, right? So that natural drift. And how did I replant myself? It was. And then it felt very much like the story we're going to talk about soon. It was when chaos hit my life. Yeah. And it was through community, really. It wasn't a direct correlation of this like moment, this season that we're going in where I didn't even realize that moment I'm adrift from what I need. It was the community first that helped me get replanted back into even understanding what I need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have similar stories about pretty formative points in your life where you felt that drift. Mine is like more like I relate to this now. I get really enthusiastic about one aspect of what I'm doing, and I can get distracted, or the balance gets off, and then there's drift in other areas of even my relationship with Jesus. So I'm focused so much on cultivating this kind of growth that I feel him refining me in, and then other things don't get addressed. And then generally just apathy, things that are not getting my attention at all receive less and less attention. And even in those busy seasons where I don't have 10 minutes to start my day with the Lord, like each day that happens, like I can feel the drift happening. Like you can feel it happening at first, but the farther away you get, the more tone deaf you become to God's voice, to the Holy Spirit's prompting. And the solution is always so simple, right? Like scripture, prayer, worship, tithe.
Serve.
But that's so
I mean, it is, but it is. Like those ingredients are so basic, but they're core. I mean, they are so core.
Yeah.
And without them, it does untether you.
Yeah. And what I am so proud of that we do here and with the networks that we are a part of is there's always more. If you need a little more, if you want to connect more, like we've got this app, we've got these study guides, we've got all sorts of resources that are free. We've got B groups. We are inviting people into these spaces in all sorts of different ways, new ways all the time. So if you would like some coaching on how to get started with any of that kind of thing, we can absolutely help you. Leave a comment, send us an email. We will get you started.
Yeah, that's such a relatable look into like the daily drift that we can experience. And I think for me, I've said this before, I think in my B group is shortening the amount of time until you feel that feeling of being drifting away. Like, so even recognizing it, hopefully in that moment during the day, rather than weeks going by before you even feel that way. Like, I think that's an important part. Like I said, yesterday we looked at Psalm 1, which offers us, Jamie said, two paths, one to a life of intentionality with no regrets, and the other wondering what could have been. Oh boy. So in a world full of noise and options, how can we recognize this path of life that God is inviting us into and even stay on that path?
You go first, James.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, how do we recognize like when our world is full of this noise and options, similar to what Adrienne was talking about when she feels adrift, but how can we recognize this path of life that God is inviting us into, of intentionality?
Well, I do think I think part of it is that evaluation. It's you have to objectively look at where you're at and who's around you and the trajectory that your life is on. Like I think it just requires evaluation, and we're not typically great evaluators.
Bad vision.
Yeah, we tend to just kind of roll forward, and
Especially of self.
And push through whatever it is we're doing without a whole lot of evaluation. And so, yeah, I think that's how you discern that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. In that season that I was talking about, the self-reflection that I had to go through was unlike anything I've experienced before in life. And like just sometimes that's what it is. It's something you have to go through, like the story we're about to mention, that causes you to take that beat in a world full of noise and chaos and options to self-reflect and head down the path that God intended us to. And that story that I'm talking about is one of Miss Amy Downs and her transformation after the Oklahoma City bombings, her experience there and her life transformation there. Jamie, can you give us a little recap of that story?
So it was, her story was one of many stories that were told during this documentary on Netflix that was just really good. If you like that kind of thing. I love Netflix docs.
Yeah.
So, so this one was on the Oklahoma City bombing. Her story came up. She was interviewed throughout her and several other people were interviewed throughout, but her story in particular just really kind of stood out to me. And she was a employee at a bank that was housed in that building. It was morning time. She's making her rounds, saying hello to all of her friends, and she sits down in the office chair, and just about as soon as she sat down, the bomb goes off. And I can't imagine like how loud that would have been, just all of it, and she was immediately plunged into darkness. She was buried under, 10 feet of rubble or so. And she's trying to figure out if she's dead or alive, and she finally hears some first responders digging through the rubble. And she's pretty certain she's going to die. She can't really feel much on her, so she's not sure how badly she's wounded or whatever. But she just has this moment where she's laying under the rubble, and she thinks, 28 years old, and I've got a job that I don't love. I'm overweight and unhealthy and on meds for all kinds of things. I'm haven't started a family. Like my life is not going the way that I would have wanted my life to go. And now it's too late to do anything about it because I'm about to die. And I didn't get to finish her story, but I looked her up online because I was so intrigued by that story. She became the CEO of the company that she was working for at the time, of that bank. She became a marathon runner, motivational speaker, wrote a book, has a family. She really turned it around, but it was all because she had this moment of clarity that was caused by the tragedy.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Such a powerful story.
Yeah.
Gosh.
And I think, and I've already mentioned it, but it's that crisis. You challenged us in the moment, in the room yesterday, to even envision the roof in the auditorium falling in, just to picture ourselves in this moment where she was at. And it's interesting that she had this what could have been path that she went down. And I think when our backs are against the wall in crisis moment like that, that's what it tends to be. How can we, because that has my story written all over it too. But how can we look at life down the other path, down the intentional path when we're not in a crisis moment?
I mean, I think it's the same answer. It's that evaluation thing, but I mean, we're so averse to reflection that it almost takes a crisis
It does.
to push you into that space.
I think we see much clearer.
Oh, that's
than
fair. Yeah.
We do. I
Yep.
keep thinking about like corrective lenses, eyeglasses imagery. Like when you get to be my age, listener, you need reading glasses pretty much, period. But if you wear your reading glasses when you're doing anything besides reading, you can't see anything. So if you are laser focused on some teeny tiny detail of your life and you're only paying attention to that little thing, it becomes your whole universe.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
And when you sit back, you can't see anything.
Right.
Because you still have these dumb, far-sighted glasses on. You have to take your glasses off and invite a different perspective in to be able to see things from far enough away that you know how much intensity you should be paying to whatever is happening in your life. Like I think of these emotional events in our life that feel insurmountable. We can't compartmentalize them. It's like a paper cut on the tip of your most used finger. It just irritates you and you can't help but rub your thumb against that wound when all it does is hurt more. We get so fixated on those things.
Yeah.
We have work to do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
And thanks for touching on like how difficult this self-reflection part can be.
Don't need a crisis.
Right. And I think it points to like how can you do this when in moments where you don't feel like you're in crisis, understanding one that this part of life is difficult, this self-reflection, because we think we see clearer than we do sometimes, but it points to our community too. Like we have our circle, and especially as believers, we have these, it's like an accountability piece too, for other people to step in to this area of life in particular.
Yeah.
Right? And that's start speaking self-reflection.
Right. And even back in the Psalm, the first couple of verses, that really is the picture of the passivity. It's the voices around that person that take them down the wrong path. So they hear the voices and they're standing with them, then they're engaging with them. And the opposite, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
If you get the right people who are all being purposeful and intentional around you, then you're hearing their voices, then you're sitting
Hebrews
with them, and then
10:25.
and then you're engaging with them.
Woo, full circle.
Yep.
So that piece is so important. The people around you can play, should play, do play a significant piece in that.
And if you don't have those people,
You got to get
you
them.
better get to Believers.
Right.
If you didn't get your bumper sticker this last Sunday,
when
we
life
do
goes
have
sideways.
some spares. So be sure to ask a greeter when you come next week. If you'd like us to mail you one, we will do that for you.
Yeah,
for our
absolutely.
online audience.
Absolutely. So as we continued looking at Psalm 1, we learned how really we can stop drifting and start planting.
Yeah.
We can choose where we are planted. I love that. It was here in the message, Jamie, that you asked us, what's shaping us the most right now? That's a bit of an intimidating question to be asked and to wrestle with yourself. Assuming we all at least somewhat struggle with all these cultural influences, how can we evaluate the voices, the media, or even relationships that influence us on a daily? And what does it look like to shift our focus back to God's truth?
Yeah. I'm looking for, I apologize for not having this up beforehand. I'll look for it while I talk or while you all talk. But the pour over does such a good job of this. And Jason Woodruff, I think is his name. He's the founder of the Pour Over and the guy in charge. He's the boss. And he has been sending out for the last couple months, if you sign up for it, in addition to the Pour Over on Sundays, he sends out just a little reflection kind of piece on diagnosing, like, why do we consume news? Like, what's our purpose behind it? And just trying to like prompt some questions and thoughts so that we're so that we're thinking about what we're consuming and the why behind it. And it's been so good. He's had so many, he's a really sharp guy. I also signed, his dad is a pastor out in the Midwest. And he has a Friday email that is spectacular also, that I found out. I think it was from those Sunday reflection things. But anyway, they're so thoughtful and they're so counterintuitive, and like he gives a perfect routine of digesting news that he's kind of adopted.
Okay.
That's what I was going to look for in my email, but it's like spend 3 minutes praying before you even start reading the news, so that when you do read it, you're reading it with the Holy Spirit by your side.
Right.
Like you're inviting God's presence to go, read this news with me. And as I digest this news, I want to digest it with you as my guide.
Yeah.
Like so helpful. And then like once you start reading the news, it's only like 5 minutes, like max.
You set the timer.
Yeah. Don't do any more than that. And then pray another 3 minutes for the things that you just consumed. So you're no longer the angry person who's angry at everyone who's on the opposite side of this issue. I'm now praying about the issue itself and the people who are impacted by it. Like such a helpful lens. Like why do we need someone to write to us to tell us to do that? Because it's so counterintuitive to what we're doing.
Yeah.
Most of us right now, we're just constantly bombarding our senses with news that agitates us and makes us angry at people who don't think the same way as us. Right. And man, that is not conducive to a walk with Jesus.
Right.
And so, just rethinking. I personally think, like, I think it's the social, it's the news, it's those two kind of things. Like, what's shaping you the most right now? For most people, it's that.
Right.
It's not even people. It's not people, because we're not engaging with people.
Like secondhand content.
It's secondhand content. It's the podcast. It's the radio. It's the news that runs 24/7 in the background of most of our homes. It's that kind of stuff that is shaping us. And I got bad news for you. It's not shaping you to be like Jesus.
Right.
Rewiring.
Yep.
Yeah.
You rewire when you commit to Jesus in the first place, but then we have to actively rewire. It's like our systems are designed to fall back to those old sin nature ways. So we have to constantly be exercising and retraining those same skills we've already learned.
Right.
We see this in the Bible all the time. Like our heroes make the same mistakes over and over. You've talked about this. I'm feeling a little judgmental over our guy here who just learned this one chapter ago. That's happening to me all the time, all the time. So this rewiring, and that's kind of the attitude we have to take. I haven't arrived. I have never arrived. I am a work in progress, and I am only a work in progress in accordance with the work I'm willing to put in.
Yeah.
And I think with this question, it's interesting. What's shaping us right now? Maybe a little more of that. But when you think of where you're choosing to be planted and what's causing you to drift, it doesn't initially feel like something like the news or social media is big enough. Like you tend to want to draw to, I'm actually rooted in Jesus. I'm planted in Jesus. I am planted in my relationships, like something like that. But it ties back to the self-reflection part. Wait a second. I am a little too rooted, planted right now in this, and this is what's shaping me right now. It's absolutely possible for the news and for social media to, in this season of life or in a season of life, to be shaping you.
Yeah,
and that self-reflection is so important.
Yeah. What are you thinking about most right now? That's the answer.
That's
to the
reframing that that way.
What is on your mind when you're falling asleep? That is the thing that needs less of your attention, probably.
Right.
Did you find the thing?
I did, but I think it must have been the previous weeks because this week was also a very thoughtful reflection, but it wasn't that.
We'll include some links.
Yeah.
Corey, will you help me put some links in the show notes for this one? Thumbs up, everybody.
Thumbs up,
All
that's
right. Yes, for Corey.
But you shared that with us yesterday on social. Was it 1440 or the pour over that you shared?
I think it was 1440 that I shared.
And then we had a comment from one of our believers people that was talking about, have you heard of the pour over? So, I know it's close. I know it's close to your heart.
If you refer friends, you can get one of their cool stickers. I do want one of their cool stickers.
Yeah.
Have you gotten one yet?
I have gotten a couple of them. I don't know if I have any extras. I'll have to look. I don't even know where I don't think I used them.
Oh, come on.
I did
You
get
have to give me
I got
one.
their coffee mug.
I want a sticker, though.
I'll look for the sticker.
Okay.
I'll try to find it.
You know how I feel about gifts.
That's what,
I might have to email them and just say, hey,
Quick.
hook a sister up.
yes, I do.
You on first name basis with the oh my
I feel
gosh.
like I am.
Oh my
This
gosh.
is definitely how Adrian is. Little side note behind the scenes for our listeners and watchers. I'm kind of in charge of staff celebrations and birthdays and all the things. And I celebrated your birthday 5 months after your birthday. Is that right?
I'm not ready to talk about it.
I'm not
You kept
ready
it
to
on my radar. So I will
not ready to
never forget your birthday again.
When's my birthday, Joe?
January.
The whole month?
Yes.
We're good. Are we still celebrating your birthday? It's still June.
It's still June.
Okay.
Right? I can't believe
who
the
took the sign
decorations are
down?
not here.
Did you do that? He's not ready to talk about it.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we have a new challenge. Adrian already kind of spilled the tea on that
I
one.
wanted to
but
brag that I did
that's
my
all right.
homework.
Yeah, no worries. We have a new challenge. It's in addition to our Bible reading challenge that
You're
we do
welcome.
year round.
Yes.
We have a fun little 1 week challenge to
Uh-huh.
add on
5
top
days.
of it. Don't, it's not supplemental. Do this in addition to your daily reading that we have all year
Yeah,
long.
it's
but
supplemental.
Yeah, that is
supplemental.
That's what supplemental
It is
means.
supplemental. It's not
a replacement.
okay. Anyway, we are in the book of James this week.
Well, did he use whimsical on the pod, or was that before the pod started recording?
Are you saying I used whimsical the wrong way?
I said
you used it
was
well,
that
but
your
I think
word
you-
of the day? You
yeah.
used
That
up your
happens.
$5 words.
Yeah, you're just
early.
trying too
You gotta
hard.
slow
I know
down
where-
over
I know
there.
where my
You're doing a great
self-reflection needs to
job.
be.
Just relax.
I know where my self-reflection needs to be today. I'll work on that as soon as we're done here. All right. So anyway, James. Why James? Why did we pick James?
I like the name.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
fair enough.
It's such a great name.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, it is. It probably is my favorite book of the Bible. Not because of the name, although it is great, but just because it's so practical.
Mm-hmm.
And early on in my own walk with Jesus, my camp counselor, Alan Miller, had us read the book of James while we were at camp, a chapter a day, and we did 2 sessions with our counselor per day, one in the morning, one in the evening, and he would talk through the first half of the first chapter in the morning and the second half of the first chapter in the evening. And so I read it a lot. I didn't know what else to read in the Bible.
Yeah.
A lot of it didn't make sense to me, but that book just makes sense. Like it's so accessible. So that's why I chose it. Psalm 1 is also in the category of wisdom literature, and James is also in that same category. So, I thought they correlated well with one another, and it would be easy. It's a bite size.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you're averse to Scripture because it feels overwhelming, this is such a great place to start.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of new believers, they have a strong connection to the book of James. Because of the same experience you have.
Yep.
I grew up in church, but didn't really engage with Jesus until like 2007. And I remember James and Romans and Acts. Like I hung out there until I was ready for training wheels to come off.
Right.
So to revisit it regularly, remembering, it reminds me who I was back then.
That's so good.
And how much has changed. It is a great way to get your vision right, to reflect on your own progress with Jesus. It can point out your growth, or it can point out some opportunities you have to up your game. It's so nice.
Yeah. That's so good.
I just, what stood out to me about the James aspect today is just that his relationship with Jesus changed so much.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
Like Jesus was the punky little brother.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
I mean, he starts by calling himself a slave to his brother.
isn't that hopeful?
Right. So that's how loyal he is to his brother. Like it's astonishing. Like the transformation in that guy is astonishing. And it's one of the, I think, one of the larger proofs of the validity of the gospel is his story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it
amazing.
means it's accessible truly to anyone.
Yeah.
Right.
Don't give up on that cousin you've been praying over.
Yeah.
Don't give up on that neighbor you keep inviting. We're going to do something super rad up in here over 4th of July weekend. I know some of you will be out, but lots of you will be around. It is a great opportunity to invite people to come with you and hear what it's all about. Maybe James will have an effect there too.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. Well, we hope you'll join us on that challenge this week. We're doing 1 chapter a day, or like Adrian, we'll do all chapters all days. No worries. Either way works. That is all we have time for today, though. We hope to see you as we continue our summer playlist series next week at 9 or 10:45 here on campus, or you can join us online on YouTube at 1 o'clock. And until then, go and be love.